Hi, you remember Solar freaking Roadways? Well, it's back. Check it out. I got no end of emails and tweets that this is all in the news again recently. Look at this. Solar paving to make first public US appearance on Route 66. Look at this. It's going to come to Route 66. They're going to pave that one of America's famous highways is about to become an awesome science experiment. Oh, look at this. It's all happening. It's all happening. Route 66, it's on all the press. Look at this, The Verge, it must be true. Solar Roadways, come in. It's on CNET. It's got to be true. They're going to put it on Route 66. So that all sounds fantastic, but of course, it's all overhyped bullshit. Now, if you actually take a look at some of these articles, or just look at all the headlines and all the hype, you might think that they're actually going to pave Route 66 with these solar freaking roadway panels. But if you read further, that's not really what's happening. What's going on here is MoDOT, that's the Missouri Department of Transportation, have this Road to Tomorrow initiative thing they're spending millions on, no doubt. And there's 5 different initiatives. One of them's the Internet of Things, grown. Anyway, the other is, one of the others is Solar Roadways. And if we go in here and learn more, just a couple of lame-ass quotes. Anyway, what's going on here is that they're actually not paving Route 66 at all. What they're going to do is pave just the walkway in front of a visitor centre in Conway, is it, on the I-44 near Conway. And it gets better. It's a massive 12 by 20 foot patch of panels. Not only generate electricity to help power the rest stop, but they heat them as well, because one of the big selling points of solar roadways is that it can melt snow. Hang on, I'm going to face palm. Ugh. Unbelievable. Anyway, take it away, local reporters and local channel KY3. They'll tell you all about it.
KY3's Linda Russell shows us where MoDOT is planning a pilot solar project in the Ozarks.
This rest stop on westbound I-44 near Conway is dedicated to historic Route 66, but it could help pave the way to the roadways of tomorrow.
This is just a really exciting project to be able to be a part of something that could be the future.
MoDOT is planning a pilot project here, solar panels that lie flat on the ground. They're talking with an Idaho company called Solar Roadways and feel sure their hexagon-shaped solar panels would generate lots of talk.
We're hoping, because that's part of what we want to try to do is really showcase, and part of why we picked this location is because of the historic Route 66.
While the solar roadways panels are designed to be strong enough to drive on, MoDOT is going to first try them out with foot traffic here on the sidewalk to the rest stop's main entrance.
This is kind of the first phase, and we hope in the future that we then can move it out into maybe the parking lot and then maybe into a travel area.
So all that hype about paving Route 66, it turns out they're only going to do a dinky rest stop, the pavement, and if it goes well, they'll expand it out into the parking lot, let alone the road. Unbelievable. But wait, it gets better. The guy in charge of this, Tom Blair, there he is there talking about it. And to be fair, actually, if you go down here, he actually, to quote him, he says, if their vision of the future is realistic. So it turns out he has doubts. But hey, he's been put in charge of this big initiative that, there's big money behind, the government initiative to actually modernise roadways and everything else. And of course, all the hype and everything else, they're buying into it. But hey, probably he isn't even silly enough to go, let's put it straight on the road. So they're just going to pave the parking lot. But here's the kicker. Look at this. To get the most out of its solar roadway project, the department will seek crowdfunding. They're already spending $100,000 on this waste of time, and they want to raise more money from the public to do this?
12 by 20 foot patch of panels would not only generate electricity to help power the rest stop, but heat as well to prevent ice and snow from accumulating on the surface.
What's so appealing from the revenue side of it is, if we don't have to treat roads or sidewalks or pavement anymore, that's less material, that's less chloride, that's less things that go into the environment, and also, the aspect of getting energy.
I can't believe that people are still being sucked in to this bullshit concept Solar Roadways have, this pie-in-the-sky concept of heating up these tiles to melt snow on them, to keep them snow and ice free. And this is all the data they've got on their website about this, by the way. Like, never showing that it actually works, and it can't, because it's demonstrably impractical. I'm not going to bother going through the calculations because thankfully fellow blogger Thunderfoot has already done it for us. Take it away, Thunderfoot.
Look, it's not exactly rocket science to understand that if it was cheaper to melt snow rather than just to move it to the side of the road, then we would use flamethrowers for snow removal, not snowplows. And the reason we don't do that is because it is much cheaper just to move the snow to the side of the road. Look, it's not even a matter for discussion, it's simple thermodynamics. That conservation of energy stuff we were going over earlier. If you want to turn 1 kilogram of ice at freezing point into 1 kilo of water at freezing point, it requires about 300 kilojoules per kilogram. And according to the Department of Transport stats, the typical place in America gets, say, 13 centimeters of snow, which is the equivalent of about 1.3 centimeters of ice. We know the target road area, and therefore we can calculate how much ice there is to melt. And therefore, we know how much power is needed to melt that ice. Therefore, we can calculate the electricity bill using cheap electricity. Oh yeah, you're right. 2 billion really doesn't sound very cheap. I've got a great idea for saving money. Let's replace it with a system that, if it was 100% efficient, would cost $5 billion per year. And that's ignoring the fact that these solar panels will be in the northern part of America, where there isn't much sunlight. In the winter, where there's even less sunlight, and they're going to be covered in snow, which means they're not going to generate any bloody power to melt the snow.
So just how much money have the Brusaws sucked out of the community and the government? Well, let's take a look here. Back in 2009, they got $100,000 for a small business innovation research thing. Then they got like onesies and twosies here and there from, just various individuals, support private. And then they went on to get private donations. They got up to, and they won some $50,000 contest or something like that. And then they got a US phase 2 contract, which was $750,000. And then, of course, they started their famous Indiegogo campaign, which is where it came on everyone's radar. And they ultimately raised $2.2 million in that campaign, 2.269 actually, which is what this Indiegogo in demand is. They got an extra $60,000, is currently our only source of income at that point. Then they got a US phase 2B just at the end of last year, and that netted them an extra $750,000. And this doesn't include the new $100,000 contract for this Route 66 thing. That's a total of $3.85 million for this boondoggle. Important scientific renewable energy research. So let's look at their research, shall we? I mean, they must have a lot of data now. They must have done a lot of testing since, 2009 when they got their first money. So they've been doing this for like almost 6 or 7 years or something like that. And do remember that the Indiegogo campaign, where they got the bulk of their money, was over 2 years ago now. So surely they've got a lot to show for it in that, 6 years, or let alone 2 years since they got the major money. Well, let's go in and take a look at it, shall we? Let's go into their research here and have a look. So if we have a look at the phase 1 research here, well, here it is. It's their SR1 panel, and this is back in 2009. They needed to show that it generates its own power through the sun. Well, Yeah, okay, it's a solar cell. All right, and various other things. Okay, that was just the initial effort for pavement systems, apparently. It had to meet that. And then the glass, they only basically just research, due to the very limited budget, glass was only studied, not yet used during this round of funding. Okay, fair enough. And the phase 2 results, where they got the $750,000. This is back in 2011. This is 5 years ago, and they built this, the famous one outside their garage here, this test bed. Okay, fair enough. They went to town, they did all that, ran all the trenches for the conduit and everything else, and installed all their panels, and it all looks hunky-dory. But okay, that's it. But where are the test results from that? Let's have a look. Let's go up here. Phase 2 results. Now, I won't go through this and read it in detail because it'll take some time. I'll link it in down below if you want to read it yourself. But basically, I don't see any real results here. All I see is them talking about if each of these 4 panels produced. Like, not they did produce or anything like that. Just if. Like, it was like, where's the real data? Show us the real data. All they seem to have here is just some data on how much power their electronics and things like that take. I mean, this thing has been installed for 5 years. Where is the data? Like, surely they'd have like at least a full year's worth of tracked, logged data on this. Where's the graphs? Where's the production graphs? There's nothing. And as far as load testing goes, all they've ever done, this is before their original Indiegogo campaign, is this John Deere tractor. As I pointed out in my original video, this weighs under a ton. And of course, tractors are designed to have these large low pressure tyres on them so that they spread the load evenly and they don't sink into mud and crap like that. This is like, people seem to be impressed by this. Oh, look, a tractor, it weighs bugger all and is putting bugger all load on these panels. What about if you put a semi-trailer on there? This thing, they've had this thing installed for like 4 years or something, and yet, like, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. No real-world testing of an actual car or a truck slamming on their brakes on these panels. Why? Because it would decimate them. And what happens when you do drive on a glass surface, I wonder, and it does, rub and grind away all that glass? I don't know, but maybe something called silicosis might be an issue. Just putting it out there.
The reason that I find solar roadways fundamentally distasteful is that they've duped people into giving them over $2 million for a project that you can demonstrate is fundamentally unviable with a $10 coffee pot and a damaged piece of blacktop. That is, the material that they want to use is fundamentally unsuitable for its proposed purpose. Proposing glass roads really is as stupid as proposing chocolate frying pans.
But surely after 2 years and raising over $2.2 million from the Indiegogo campaign, and after raising the $750,000 from the Phase 2 research grant, what have they got? Only now, in November 2015, a year and a half after the Indiegogo campaign, and they got the Phase 2 funding from the US Department of Transportation for $750,000. Only now are they doing freeze-thaw cycling on the things to see how they can stand up to the environmental stresses. They're doing moisture testing. They're doing shear testing to simulate heavy vehicle braking. They've been working on these things for 6 years, 7 years or something, and only now, a year and a half later, after they got the latest round of funding, are they going to simulate heavy vehicle braking? Unbelievable. And simulate years of trucks of use in a matter of months. How about actually driving a truck on the thing, actually building, a 50-meter stretch of this and driving a truck on it? You had the money for it. And what did they spend their Indiegogo money on? They spent them on CNC machines for doing their own glass, kilns for firing their own glass, laser cutters, everything else. So they bought all these big boy toys, and What? It's a glass working table and a forklift and a reflow oven. I mean, wow. Seriously? Like, they're doing their own glass? Unbelievable. These people are clueless. And still no solar test results. None whatsoever. That's it. That's the end of the Phase 2B research after the $750,000 plus the $2.2 million from Indiegogo 2 years ago. And, but no, wait, hang on. Wait. I think this could be it. Data collection. Oh, yeah. This is there. Here we go. We have data. We have a table. What have they done? Oh. They've installed 2 commercial solar panels on the sidewalk. One's angled and one's flat. And they're doing research. I'll leave it up to you to read it, but they're doing research on flat versus angled solar panels. Groundbreaking research, folks. After 7 years and $3.8 million raised, they're just now getting around to not even testing their own panels. They're just testing commercial panels to see flat versus angled. Do I need to say any more? Do you understand that people have wasted their money on this boondoggle? Unbelievable. I am buggered if I can find any real test results or real data on this thing. I mean, are they deliberately hiding this stuff? Surely you would get, my home solar system. I've been tracking the data since the day it was installed. And they've been doing this for years. And they've got basically bugger all to show for it. Nothing. And they've had, of course, the glass surface. They go into all sorts of, theory and everything else. But the practicality of it, where is that? Numerical calculations, they go through some ridiculous givens and things like that. But still no data that they're actually working on. And don't get me started on the lead thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing here. Absolutely nothing. People have wasted their money. It's a complete boondoggle. It will never, ever be practical. Anyway, I've done 4 videos on this, going through all the proper calculations. Solar roadways are bullshit, more solar roadways bullshit, and then I've gone into solar roadways test results where I've actually looked at real test results from real solar road installation in the Netherlands and real rooftop solar panels between them. But solar roadways are demonstrably impractical. They will never work. Here it is, French solar road in France. They want to install 1,000 kilometers or whatever. It is complete bullshit. And the one in France here is, at best, it's 3 times the cost. You can see it there, 3 times the cost for half the output. You can go run the numbers yourself. These are real numbers from real test results from real solar panels on people's roofs in next to an actual installed 70-meter solar roadway / cycleway. This is using real data. The Brusaws have done nothing like this. And even then, in the best case scenario, using the Colas Wattway project, which is infinitely more practical than the stupid hexagonal interlocking glass ridiculousness that the Brusaws are trying to push here with their solar roadways. If you want to support a practical solar roadways, I don't recommend it, but if you do want to, if you're a solar roadways fanboy and you do want to support it, go look at the Colas Wattway project. I'll link it in down below, and even that, it is going to be at absolute best, assuming everything's ideal, it's going to be 6 times more dollars per watt. It's just engineering folly. So this Route 66 thing is just a complete joke. The Brusaws are never ever going to produce anything that's remotely practical, and people still keep putting money in this thing. And the government now want to do a crowdfunding campaign to suck even more money out of the people after they've already wasted all these tax dollars, $3.8 million at least, gone into this solar roadways rubbish, and it will never ever be remotely practical. I don't think I can do this anymore. I'll just leave you with some choice words from one of my previous videos, because I'm done. And for the few Solar Roadways fanboys still out there, their argument still remains the same. Oh, it's going to get lower cost, with higher volume and the infrastructure, they'll learn to install them and maintain them, and, costs will go down and down and down. Yeah, well, they're still going down and down and down for regular rooftop and commercial installations as well. It's like they're still going down. There's still this huge gap of, 6 times or more. It's probably even order of magnitude more cost dollars per watt. It's always going to be the case. Now, the other argument is, well, who cares about the efficiency and all that? Surely some energy output is better than none, right? The roads are just sitting there doing nothing. Well, no, you don't get it. There's a much bigger issue at stake here. As a society, one of the biggest problems we've got, if not the biggest problem for future sustainability, is energy supply, energy consumption. And it's our responsibility as a society to produce renewable energy systems that are as efficient as possible. They get the most bang per buck. If you went and implemented solar roads on a mass scale or even a global scale, as these people want to do, it'll save the world, didn't you know? Right? If we just paved 10% of the roads in the world, it can power the whole planet. If we did that, it'd be nothing short of an ecological disaster, because they would need so much maintenance, the infrastructure, the cost. Just when you try and do a life cycle analysis of a solar roadways, it's ridiculous. Wouldn't even know where to begin. We're only just coming to terms with proper solar systems that we have now that are done in the most efficient way possible. Rooftop systems and ground-based solar systems. They're incredibly efficient, getting more efficient by the day. They're incredibly reliable, about as reliable as you could possibly get. Why would you implement something that's an order of magnitude or more worse efficiency, has no end of maintenance problems, and we haven't even started discussing how we're going to, the system engineering stuff involved in this thing, not just as a road surface, but how they're all wired together. You'll note, you won't find any photos or any video or anything mentioned at all about how they actually get the power out of these things, wire them all together, it's all maintained. Do you have a micro inverter on each one? What are the arrangement of the arrays and all that sort of stuff? What happens to maintenance and everything else? Like, just the system engineering involved in that, because if you implement them as roadways, you've got to have the channels down the sides of the road, so they've got to be shared with the gutters and the drainage, and as an engineer, as a design engineer, somebody has got to implement this sort of, crazy idea. The engineering challenges are just mind-boggling. And no, it's not good enough just to say, well, they're just challenges, we can overcome those. No, it's just fundamentally facepalm worthy stupid. Don't put them on the roads. Sure, they might be useful in a niche application or something like that. If you want to do some parking lot or something, okay, some park cycleway or something, whatever, Okay, fine, but to implement them on a mass scale is lunacy. And no, doing research on solar roadways is not researching new solar technology. All it's doing is taking existing solar panel technology and using it in the most abusive and most inefficient way possible. And by the way, I've been incredibly generous in these calculations here, saying, at best 6 times dollars per watt. It's, as I said, going to be an order of magnitude worse. This does not take into account the maintenance of a road surface. When you take a solar panel and you drive cars on top of it, are you insane? Why would you put anything on top of a solar panel? It is just stupid. This is why After 5 years of development, all you'll see from these companies is just a photo of a truck just, parked on top of the solar panels. They haven't actually implemented a kilometre of the thing as a real road and actually have trucks driving on it and slamming on their brakes and all sorts of wear and tear for a year before you even consider such a bloody engineering folly like this. Unbelievable. So can we just stop this solar roadways bullshit, please? It's just ridiculous. The numbers will never, ever work. To put something on top of a solar panel. Oh. Hi. Yes, it's solar roadways time again. Oh. It's like playing whack-a-mole. It all started with solar freaking roadways, and I did a video debunking that one. Then it was the solar road in the Netherlands. Did a couple of videos debunking that one as well. And it's back in the news again because France, the French Minister for Silly Walks, has just announced that France intend to install 1,000 kilometres of solar road from a French company called Wattway.